Today our deck is playing 94 basic mountains, and when things go right, we're still gonna kill our opponent on turn 4. So here is our 94 land Laelia Historic Brawl deck, and this deck is absolutely hilarious. I actually saw a Reddit post from someone talking about their super memeish Laelia deck, and I knew I had to give this deck a shot because it is just so absolutely hilarious and ridiculous. So as you can see, 94 basic mountains in our deck, which means we have 94 lands, a commander, and then 5 non-land cards in our main deck. Every one of those cards has Discover or Cascade. So what is the actual idea of this deck? So our commander is Laelia the Blade Reforged, and Laelia has an interesting ability. Whenever one or more cards are put into exile from our library or graveyard, we put a +1/+1 counter on it. So the rest of the cards in our deck are all Discover or Cascade spells, and what we're really looking for is a Tally's Favor. So when we start drawing our opening hands, we will mulligan all the way down to 1 card to find a Discover or Cascade card. We don't really care which one it is. Our best one is a Tally's Favor, but all the other ones eventually find us a Tally's Favor anyway. So the way Discover and Cascade works, if you actually read the mechanics of the mechanic, is we exile cards from the top of our library until we hit a card of the right mana value, then we can play that card. So let's say we have Laelia, and then we play an Tally's Favor on it. What's going to happen is there's literally nothing in our deck that we can discover 3. There's nothing cheap enough to find. So a Tally's Favor is going to exile our entire deck, probably like 90 cards. Each one of those cards is going to put a +1/+1 counter on Laelia. So Laelia is going to become a 92/92. Plus we get a Tally's Favor, which pumps it and gives it trample. So on turn 4, we just have like a 90-something power trampling Laelia, and we just swing in and smash in and win the game. The rest of our Discover and Cascade spells are just going to find a Tally's Favor. No matter which one of these cards we find, the end result will be eventually that we Cascade/Discover into a Tally's Favor. We play Trumpeting Carnosaur, it discovers 5, it hits a Daring Discovery, which discovers 4, which hits a Geological Appraiser, which discovers 3, which finds the Tally's Favor and makes our Laelia trampling and hundreds of power and wins us the game. And that's the deck. It's kind of like Zombie Hunt. That's really all we do with this deck, is try to mulligan into that opening hand, cross our fingers that we don't mulligan to 0 without finding a Cascade spell, trust that our opponent doesn't have removal, and if they don't, we just kill them on turn 4 with 94 land Laelia. So anyway, that's our deck. Let's jump into some games and see if it actually works. Need some magic cards? Well, you can snag them from our sponsor, Card Kingdom, over at cardkingdom.com/mtggoldfish. Let's see if this ridiculous deck can actually work. Oh god. Well, step 1, find Cascade or Discover. Mulligan. Mulligan. Oh no, mulligan. Another 7-lander. Mulligan. Mulligan. Oh god. Not like this in our first game, Watsy. Well, we're down to 1. There's no reason to mulligan to 0. So, well, sometimes you mulligan 7 times and end up with a mountain in your hand. All right, so this is probably not going to go well. Oh god. Is that what happens with this deck? I mean, so how can we win from here? Basically, we need the Ultra Miracle. We only have 5 cards that matter in our deck. So odds are we just draw lands until our opponent kills us. We can play Laelia to start drawing extra cards, because you know we're going to find land number 3. That's not a concern. We have 92 lands left in our deck. We started with them all to 1. I guess there's a world where we just attack with Laelia for a bunch of turns and win, right? That could happen. Laelia, might as well. Watch us exile our... Okay, just a mountain. It would be very sad if we exiled a Cascade spell right there, Discover spell. Opponent, Triumph, Cold Steel Heart, getting their ramp on. We draw a mountain. Imagine that. Well, so far, this feels like a mulligan simulator. Opponent down to 16. We'll play a mountain. I mean, we're never going to get mana screwed in this deck. That's the bright side, right? Snap stacks, sure. I mean, we got a 5/5. We're kind of doing it. I think we just keep attacking. Like, if they kill this, then we can recast it because we have all the lands. Hey, it's a mountain. Opponent down to 11. Well, play the mountain pass. We could, at this point, draw any of the Cascade spells in our deck and still jank out the win. The problem is, like, the odds are not good. Golos. Oh god. Yeah, this one might be about over now. Well, we learned that if we don't mulligan into a Cascade spell, the deck does not do much. We knew that was a risk. We knew that was a risk. Really, our opponent didn't do anything to us. We kind of did this to ourselves. I mean, kind of asking, another mountain, kind of asking for it playing 94 lands. Yeah, all right. We'll get him next time. There's no way we're going to win from here, so. 94 land time. Let's see if we can avoid mulliganing to, oh, come on. Action. Action. We need to see a non-land Magic gods. Please, not again. Not 2 in a row. Well, if you just always mulligan into nothingness, then maybe this deck's bad. Come on. Come on. We still have a bunch of mulligans to go. All right, lands. Ah, there we go. Okay, there's the Itali's favor. So now, question 2, does our opponent have removal? If not, I think we have him. Opponent's on Simic. Opponent's not the, Simic's not the best removal color, so we might actually have it here. Let's see. So we need 2 more turns after this. Next turn we play Laelia. Then the following turn, Itali's favor. GG. I mean, we'd prefer our opponent to tap out. The risky part of our deck is, if they stop the Itali's favor, we can kind of no longer win very easily. So I guess we just run out our commander here. We can get in for 2 with Laelia. Exile a card, grow it to a 3/3. Fingers crossed that something really cool is about to happen next turn. We'll see what we would just like our opponent to tap out to play literally anything. We don't even care. As long as it's not interacting with our commander, just, okay, Teovia. Oh, our opponent setting up for a cool thing. Got a Ren on the top of their deck. Gonna do sweet brawl things, but little do they know, life is about to end. So I don't think oh, they milled a Ren. Not that it really matters. Gets in for 2. Well, opponent, do we have a surprise for you? Itali's favor, Laelia. Guess what? Nothing we can cascade into, so exile our deck. Just a few counters. Just a few counters on our commander. And he gets trampled too, so jump blockers don't matter. All right, so turn 4, what do we got? 94. Oh no, the salty taco. The salty taco. Oh, grab a leg, opponent, grab a leg. How can you even get mad about this? It's so incredibly janky. Opponent just gonna, you know they're there. They're just tacoing aggressively. Well, okay, it is possible to win. We're back to 1-1. We're back to 1-1. I'm really curious the odds with this deck. How often do you win? Because it's so cheap and funny. We have sat through your tacos. Now you must die. How about 95 to the face? Now we get to play the Mulligan Simulator. Is there a non-land in our hand? No. It really feels like Zombie Hunt. It reminds me of Zombie Hunt, but the 100 card, okay, all lands, yeah. Just a little, okay, down to 6, yep. I don't think we want to keep the 6-lander. I mean, we have to go all the way to 1 with this deck. If you decide to play this deck, you have to mulligan all the way to 1 every single time. Oh, come on. Come on. Oh, okay. Wow. Wait, are we gonna, so we're on 2 cards. 2 cards, but I think we are favored in this game because our deck's on lands, right? So we're gonna just go land, Layla, Itali's favor, kill you. 2 cards doesn't matter. 2 cards is fine. Consider it, as long as one of those cards is Itali's favor, 2 cards kind of are nut draw, honestly. 1 card Itali's favor would be fine. 1 card, we could win with a mull to 1 with this if our 1 card was Itali's favor. Opponent plays a land, well, we will. I mean, we gotta play Laelia. And now we hope our opponent's like, oh, that's cute. Only 1 card in hand. What are they gonna do to me? Let's run out Ginny Faye. And then we hit them for like 95. Oh God, they did it. Ginny Faye. All right, I don't think our opponent was expecting to literally die this turn, but how about an Itali's favor on Laelia? Exile our deck temporarily, thanks to Discover, put them all back in. And now we get a few triggers. 93. Well, well done, an opponent doesn't even stick it out. Well, okay. Mull to 2, no problem for this deck. Ooh, okay, wow, we don't even have to mulligan. The Magic gods have smiled upon us, and technically we have a winning record at the moment. Oh God, imagine this deck being good. Imagine this deck actually being good. Shadow Sphere. well, Mountain go. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna play lands, play our commander, play a discover spell, and either win or lose the game on turn 4. I actually think this would probably, oh wow, okay. Well, now we just play the tally's favor. Will any of our opponents actually disrupt us? All you gotta do is leave up a removal spell. If you run into a Laelia deck that mulligans and mulligans and mulligans, just leave up a removal spell and you win. It's that simple, but no one does it. I mean, I guess people just, you don't expect to die from just having a Laelia on the board. Yeah, opponent plays a Cold Steel Heart on black, getting ready to play new Niv, bad Niv, lazy Niv. It's lazy Niv. It's like they just took the last Niv and made it a little bit worse and shipped it. All right, Mountain and Laelia. And I guess we might as well attack. We gotta attack not because we care about the damage, but it sends the message that, oh, we're just a normal Laelia deck. We're just attacking, you know, getting a counter. Don't worry about it, opponent. Play your Niv. Play your cool bomb, opponent. Okay, Skull Prophet. Now I'm afraid, because once we do it, they know what's up. Let's just get in there. We're not gonna combo. For some reason, I just feel like they have interaction here. We exile them out, and we grow our commander. Opponent takes it to 16. All right, well, play the Mountain go. We can always just wait. We don't have to go for it. We can play a little afraid. Oh, well, okay. Well, that's the game. We're never getting rid of that. You got us. Well, they did have the interaction, and yeah, okay. Well, that's fair. I'm glad someone actually stopped us. Oh, I thought that said Vlad Divac. Remember Vlad Divac? He was like in the NBA when I was a kid, and I knew him because he was in all my basketball cards getting dunked on. he was just always getting postered by someone. I think that was his role, was just to get postered. Anyway, we're playing 94 land Laelia, taking on, trying to poster Vlad Divac. Opponent plays Guardian of New Benalia. Well, I mean, this hand we didn't even have to mulligan, which is nice. Mountain, Laelia. Yeah, Guardian can't stop it, so we can get in the free attack and ask our opponent the question. I imagine they're just gonna run out their commander, because that's what you're supposed to do when you're playing Brawl. Get your super sweet commander on the battlefield, and our opponent's reward for that will be swift and immediate death. All right, Delny. I love that card. One of the best Panharmonicons. Bad news, opponent, though. We have Geological Appraiser. So Geological Appraiser, gonna do a little discovery. Okay, so that'll find a tally's favor and add a lot of counters to our Laelia. Just 34, just a little off the top, Delny, just a little off the top. And then that resolves. Now we get 90-ish more counters. Could this work in Commander proper? I'm actually really, I mean, that's another win. On to the next one. I'm actually curious though. Do you think this deck could work in Commander? It could, right? But what if someone has a Swords or a Path or literally anything, a Force, a Fierce? There's so many ways that it can go wrong. Deflecting Swap, there's so many ways it can go wrong. I kind of want to try building it though, just because it'd be funny. We will mulligan and mulligan. Oh no, is this happening again? Oh, come on. Oh. 7, 6, 5, 4. Hey, okay. 5 cards to the bottom, but that's fine. I don't know if I've ever played another deck, definitely not in Brawl, where I mulligan to 2 and I'm like, oh, we got this, easy. No problem, bring it, bring it. Opponent playing their lands. Well, we draw a Mountain. Ooh, Flowering of the White Tree, okay, okay. Shaper Sanctuary, don't worry, we're not going to be interacting with you. Well, we'll just play a land. Run out our Laelia. There is a way we lose. Well, not really. We could lose if we just spun into the Italies, whatever, right here and exiled it. Maybe that's an argument to not attack. The odds are so low, though. What are the chances? Like 1% roughly? Opponent, Kadama. Well, okay. Opponent plays a blocker. Little do they know. Our Laelia about to get a little bit buff. And wow, we exiled a lot of cards too. This is gonna be the biggest Laelia yet. All right, how many counters from the first one? 75. And then we still get to do our entire, this is gonna be almost a 200 power Laelia here. Opponent, You know what would stop this is a fog. If our opponent just has, if they're part of the fog meta, GG. Good game to you. Also, grab a leg. I don't think we're gonna say grab a leg. that might come across a little mean as we built the biggest Laelia ever, and our opponent scoops it up. And this deck works way more than it should. Wow. 94 land. Ooh, wow. It's the dream. It is the dream. We don't even have to mulligan once. What's our opponent doing? Nothing. Oh, they're mono green? Oh. All right. Opponent's doing a little alchemy mono greening. That's fine. Getting their ramp on. Mono green's probably our dream because they don't really have much removal. Like, that's the, other than just mulliganing to 1, which is apparently a thing that happens a lot. The nightmare for our deck is our opponent having removal. Instead, our opponent's going to do a little ramping. We're going to play our commander. We're going to pass, and I'm pretty sure our opponent just loses. Opponent, land, does some alchemy stuff of making another land. Okay. I'm not going to read that alchemy card. Instead, we're just going to kill our opponent. That's our punishment. Well, Italia's favor. I wonder what'll happen next. This combo's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. Well, let's make Laelia just a little bigger. Just a smidge. How about 88 +1/+1 counters? Oh, this doesn't feel fair. This doesn't feel right. Can we keep the fun going with Laelia? This deck, I'm actually a little bit concerned about. Oh no. I was just gonna say I'm concerned about how much we're winning, but now we're back to mulligan simulating. At least we're playing Brawl so we get a free mulligan. That helps a little bit. Okay, how about 5? Nope. 4? Nope. 3? Still nope. 2? How about 1? God. All right. Well, we begin the game with a mountain and a dream. Oh, I mean, there should be a cost for this deck building, right? So I'm glad that there is a % of the time where this goes wrong. Like, if it never fizzled, this would be so miserable. It already might be a little, I don't know. I imagine if people learn about this deck, they're gonna just start leaving up removal and it gets worse, but I'm actually kind of stunned. Like, when you hear 94 land, 2 rare Brawl deck, you do not expect a winning record, and this deck's honestly actually crushing it. The power of London mulligans. Well, let's get in there. We can't actually deal damage, but at least Laelia draws us, yeah, they get to block for free with their indestructible Arwen, but it does draw us an extra card each turn. So our hope is that we find a Discover Cascade spell before we die. Opponent gets and hits us. It could happen. Not likely, but it's not impossible. This is one of the weirdest decks I think we've ever played. Like, it either wins the game on turn 4 or it does nothing. Ugh. All right, opponent, again, Joe's a Laelia. That's actually fine. We can just recast it anyway. We exile a mountain that doesn't really matter. Well, play the mountain. Laelia returns. Your go, opponent. Well, come on, Cascade spell, please. Opponent appears to be some sort of counter stack, which is cool. Oh, Heliod. All right. I mean, all that really matters is, do we draw a Cascade spell? We got the removal spell out of our opponent's hand, which is good. I don't think the math favors us. So if we have 5 non-lands in our deck and like 90 cards, it's like 1 in every 18 cards or something. 17. Oh, that means we got a long wait unless we get lucky. Well, Laelia exiles a land. Opponent blocks. So Arwen's quite the blocker. I mean, at least we're not taking that much damage. Since our opponent's leaving this Arwen back, they're not actually taking that much damage, which is good for us. It's giving us more time to draw into a Cascade spell. Opponent's gonna gain a little life. Really doesn't matter. If we're gonna win, we're gonna deal way more damage than our life our opponent can gain here. Ozolith, sure. I mean, we are running out of time though, right? Like, boy, we're up to turn 7. I mean, we're giving it our best shot. Oh, we still have 87 cards in our deck. My God. Oh, that's a lot of mountains. That's a lot of mountains left in our deck. Opponent. If they ever play a real threat, or like a bigger threat. Even with just what they have, I'm surprised they haven't started attacking with Arwen. The thing is, if we draw the thing, Arwen doesn't save them. Ooh, all right, Bloated Contaminator. Still leaving back the Arwen. Oh, now we got to stop attacking. So basically, we just need to top deck a Discover spell right now. Yeah, opponent grows the dorks. It's a mountain. Well, you know what? I guess we can still attack, right? Because we can just recast. Well, they're not even gonna double block. Yeah, now I think we're pretty dead. So they hit us. They start proliferating. We're definitely dead next turn. We might have one more turn to draw a Discover spell. Opponent 9s us. Down to 5. Proliferates. All right, this is it. This is it, Magic Gods. Come on. Come on. One time. All right, Great Hen, sure. We just, oh, it's a mountain. Yeah, all right. Well, win on turn 4 or Molda 1. No in-betweens with this deck. There's no in-betweens. Opponent's on some Selesnya cat action, eh? We have I mean, this is a more expensive Discover spell, but that is still fine. We cannot be picky. With only 5 in our deck, we will keep any one of them. This does mean we can't go for the kill until turn 5. It also means we're gonna double Cascade, which means our Laelia is gonna get incredibly big, assuming our opponent can't kill it. We'll see what our opponent does. Runs out. Is that an island? Why are they playing islands? Well, Laelia, and smack ya for 2. Actually, 3. Oh, they're at they're a Slime Against Humanity deck. Okay. Cute. Oh, that's a forest that just looks like an island. I see. Opponent hits us, and I guess I shouldn't have played the land. Oops. Doesn't really matter. With 94 lands in the deck, it's not really gonna matter, but technically we should have played the one from Exile. All right, well, opponent, this is the turn. It looks like we're doing nothing. Little does our opponent know. Haha. Your Field of Ruin has nothing to target. Oh, and they're gonna tap out for a slime. All right, I mean, slimes are sweet, but you know what's sweeter? Oh, what we're about to do to our opponent. Opponent gets in, draws a card. Historic Brawl is so funny because there's not really much free interaction, right? So there's not really much to worry about. If our opponent's tapped down, we should just always be able to go for it. So play the land, and let's do a little discovering, a little daring discovering. We didn't even discover that much. All right, well, we discover a little bit. Find the Tally's Favor, get a few counters. A Tally's Favor, that's a big payoff. This is the one that really goes deep. So now we discover our deck. Nothing to find. Oh no, whatever will we do? Opponent scoops it up. We are playing what is apparently an unbelievably busted 94 land deck. I can't believe those words go together, but this deck is actually working. Ooh, all right, during discovery, our friend, opponent, playing some Simic action. I think people just don't expect something like this to happen. I mean, I wouldn't expect it. If I was just playing a random deck, I would not expect Laelia to just mean instant death. Ooh, Sea Dasher Octopus. It is kind of funny, though, because we kind of just get to ignore whatever our opponent does. They're popping off. That's a turn 2 Sea Dasher, draw an extra card each turn. Sure, like, do it. Prosperous Innkeeper. Like, no matter what our opponent does, if we do our thing, it's gonna be better. That is the upside of this deck. Opponent Sea Dashes, draws another card. I mean, the downside is they could draw into interaction. That would be annoying. Well, get in there. Would you like to block with your Innkeeper? I'd be surprised. The opponent says no. Well, we need 2 more turns, or just to luck into, ooh, Ingen has Ika. Or just luck into a cheaper Discover spell. Opponent hits us to 17, draws another card. So now they tap their creatures for mana, but only for creatures. Fang of Shigeki. Well, that means we're not attacking this turn. Doesn't really matter long term. Like, sure, Death Touch means they can kill Laelia, but pretty sure they die on the turn that they do. If you leave up removal or a fog or a counter, you win the game. I mean, you just don't know you have to, right? It's so hard. It's so hard because you just don't know. We have a 3-3. We have a 3-3. Our opponent's popping off. They got to be feeling pretty good about it. There's no way they're thinking, oh no, if I'm not careful, I'm about to die. A Modi cascades into a wall of runes, eh? I mean, I guess that's sweet with Inga and Azeka, right? It's like free-ish. If you can give a haste, it's free-ish. Azeka's Chariot. Flavor win with Azeka. I see what you're doing. Well, opponent, that was a good turn. You have a very impressive board for turn 5. We only have a 3-3, but there's bad news. There's bad news, friend. We're going to play a land. Let's do a little daring discovery here. You can't block, not that it really matters if you can block or not. Opponent's like, oh, should I crew? It doesn't matter, opponent. You're dead. You're dead no matter what. Well, this is gonna be the big one. Okay, so we discover a bunch, get a bunch of counters, 19 counters. We spin into the geological appraiser. So now this is gonna discover, get a bunch more counters. How many do we get this time? That's a big batch of lands. That hits the tally's favor. This is going to be the biggest Azeka yet, I think. So that's 56 counters. And now we have another 90-ish coming. Yeah, this is... Oh, if our opponent doesn't scoop, we're closing in on the, like, almost 200 power Laelia. This deck is so absurd. Look at all that good, clean magic our opponent was playing. Only for our... almost all land deck to do this. Oh, good try, Azeka. Good try, Inga. That is a big... Wow, they're going to stick it out. Oh, they scoop it up. That was still really impressive. This deck is... It's working. It's working. Can we keep winning? With Laelia and... Yes, okay, we don't even have to mulligan. This deck, it's so funny. It feels so good when you just have a non-land in your opening hand. That's like a win. That is a win all by itself. Just having the non-land is a reason to celebrate. See what our opponent's up to, playing some Netheroi. That is a cool card. There were some cool cards from Ikoria. Also some miserable ones. My god. Companions. The worst. Looks like a turn 4 win to me, hopefully. Cauldron Familiar. Ooh. Are they a sack deck? Or maybe they could be mutate. I guess Cat would be a good mutate card. You can just keep mutating on it. Opponent is a black deck and white. Like, they're good removal colors. They you don't know you have to leave up removal. You don't know. Like, how do you take time off? Wow, opponent fetches up a Triumph. Okay, that makes sense. Well, here comes Laelia. Go to combat. Ninja. Exile a mountain. Down. Dude, so unlucky. We're always just hitting mountains with our Laelia. Every time. Never find any action with its ability. All right, opponent, this is the moment of truth. Do you leave up interaction? Thankfully, we do have the Cascade spell that kind of lets us rebuild because we can keep throws it. Wow, Blood Artist and... Oh, opponent. Opponent, I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not really that sorry. I think this might go well for us. I think this might go well. We're going to play a mountain. We're going to throw a chaos. Do a little cascading. That's going to find Italia's favor. Put it on the Laelia. Get just a couple counters. Like 21. And then we'll do that. We'll do that one more time. Do that one more time with Italia's favor. This time, we're going to be getting like 90 counters. Yeah, we'll add those to the pile. 88 more counters. Well, at least they have a Blood Artist for blocking. 111, and trample and GG. One more match with 94 land Laelia. So this is match number 12. Match number 12, we've lost thrice, which is kind of ridiculous. I was thinking, so I played a lot of Zombie Hunt. We have a good hand, by the way, with Geological Appraiser. I played a lot of Zombie Hunt. I've played many of these mulligan for a specific card decks. They're almost never good, right? They're funny and you get people sometimes, but I never expect, oh, I'm gonna like have a great record with these decks. This deck is stomping people. Like right now so it's match 12 we're in now. We've lost 3, so we're 8-3, which is ridiculous with 94 lands. We can't really attack this turn because the Jewel Thief can stop us. The bad news, well, let's see what our opponent does. Opponent is, again, removal colors. They could stop us here. Their commander is even a removal spell. They can't actually get it down yet. Choose wisely, opponent. Malakar Rebirth on the Jewel Thief, sure. Oh, do they have, okay, Deadly. I was afraid they had like a Bone Shards or something to kill a Laelia, but no, they're just drawing cards and getting back their Treasure Thief. Sure, sure, sure. Well, you got 4 mana, opponent. Does any of it, okay, Korea Beast Scholar, sure. Opponent's got mana, but I don't think we can not go for it. Like, what else? What else do we do? Just draw lands all day? Like, what else do we possibly do? Geological Appraiser, do a little discovery. Wow, that was a good Geological Appraiser. We want the Tally's Favor to be at the bottom, because then we get even more counters. Not that it really matters, wherever it is. And, yeah, wow, 78. 78 just from the Appraiser. And then we're going to get another 88, maybe? It's usually 80, and opponent scoops it up, and, well, this deck's kind of ridiculous. So what did we learn this week about 94 land Laelia and Historic Brawl? And the deck works way better than I ever would have imagined. So we played 12 matches with the deck because the matches go super fast with this deck. We ended up winning 9 of them for a 75% win percentage. If you look at our matches, actually, so 3 times out of the 12, we mulliganed all the way down to 1, never found a Cascade or Discover card, and lost super brutally. Every other time we did our thing and our thing worked. It was actually kind of hilarious to me. I do think this deck will get a little worse now that people might actually know about it, just because people will know to leave up a removal spell. The combo is pretty easy to fizzle, right? All you need is a Doomblade or Swords to Plowshares on the Laelia, and our whole thing not only falls apart, but we essentially just lose the game on the spot. If you kill the Laelia in response to the Tally's Favor, we have no way of rebuilding. So I think once people know the gimmick of this deck, it'll probably get worse. Overall, I would say you should definitely build this deck as like your 3rd or 4th Historic Brawl deck. I don't think you want this to be your primary deck. I think you would probably go insane after about a week because it's just so repetitive. You just do the same thing every time. It's really like Historic Brawl's Zombie Hunt, one of my favorite meme decks. It's really sweet to break out and play a few matches with and laugh at because it's just such an absurd, ridiculous plan. But after you do it 5 or 10 or 100 times, you're probably going to get bored of it. So I wouldn't make this your primary Historic Brawl deck or anything, but I think it's a really fun backup deck to have around to just break out for fun every once in a while, because it's so cheap to put together. Like, it's essentially as close to free as you can get on Magic Arena, because everyone gets the basic lands. You only need Carnosaur and Laelia, essentially, as higher rarity cards, and even Carnosaur, like, you could technically cut it. I don't think you should, because then your odds of mulliganing into a Cascade or Discover spell goes down a little bit. Although I will say we never actually Carnosaured in any of our 12 matches, and we still did perfectly fine. So that's 94 land Laelia, one of the most absurd Historic Brawl decks I've ever seen. That's been our budget magic for this week. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the absurdity, and I will talk to you soon. Looking for even more magic? Well, check out the video where we went through the complete history of the modern meta, or maybe the one where we taught arena zoomers about show and tell.